All living organisms have one thing in common. At some point, we all experience environmental stress. But what exactly is environmental stress? Scientists Isabel Griffin and Birgitta Gatersplin define environmental stress as any negative psychological response to an environmental stimulus. In other words, any factor present in your life that makes you discomforted. Stress is not commonly talked about. However, it has the ability to harm someone without warning. Luckily, a fairly harsh problem has a rather simple solution. Music. Since the earliest ages of humanity, music has been used to aid in healing the sick and injured, and awareness of its healing properties has resurfaced in the quest to find more natural ways of helping others. In this presentation, we are going to discuss how stress occurs, what stress does to your body, and how we can use music as a tool to combat this silent killer. When stressed, your adrenal glands release several hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones help induce a fight or flight response to everyday situations. The reaction served as a great survival mechanism in the early stage of humanity, but now it really isn't needed as much. Everyone reacts differently to their environment. What causes stress to one person may not disturb another. However, scientists have narrowed everyday stressors into 4 broad categories: physical stress, psychological stress, psychosocial stress, and psychospiritual stress. Physical stress is any outside stimulus that inflicts physical pain, such as labor, loud noises, or toxins. A psychological stress factor inflicts an emotional response. Factors that cause psychological stress include feeling guilty about something, feeling out of control, or just information overload. Psychosocial stress is induced by your relationships with others. Factors include grieving over the death of a loved one, marriage or relationship difficulties, or lack of social support from friends and family. Psychospiritual stress disrupts one's core beliefs. Examples of this include working in an unsatisfying job or finding yourself in a situation where your religious beliefs or morals are being questioned or attacked. Now, I'm sure you guys have experienced one of these 4 stressors at least once in your life, and that's okay. It's totally fine to feel stressed from time to time. We all get the occasional shaky hands and headaches. However, if you find yourself exasperated frequently, you could suffer from a slew of health problems later on. In fact, stress has been linked as a cofactor in 95% of all disease processes, and can increase susceptibility to heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and mental disorders such as depression or anxiety in your future. Moreover, stress is detrimental to the reproductive system. The Environmental Health Project in Pennsylvania states that stress creates irregular or painful periods in women, as well as low sperm production and a reduced sexual desire in men. In other words, stress decreases fertility in humans. To make matters worse, stress attacks the immune system, making it harder to combat diseases. So on top of making people sick, stress makes it easier to be exposed to more environmental toxins and more environmental changes, which the immune system will struggle to fight. Alright, so all of these health effects are awful and scary, but how can we stop ourselves from getting too stressed? One of the best and most natural ways of reducing stress is through musical therapy. Using MRI and PET scans, researchers have discovered that listening to powerful music can light up the brain's reward center, much like pleasurable stimuli ranging from alcohol to chocolate. Basically, listening to music can trigger positive responses for a person, and they'll get a pleasant feeling. A multitude of studies have demonstrated music's ability to ameliorate the 4 types of stresses mentioned earlier. The National Library of Medicine tested the effect of music tempos on exercise fatigue, a type of physical stress. The results show that when listening to fast music, cyclists worked harder and biked a further distance. Likewise, music helped to increase the athlete's endurance and reduce their pain. In addition, music releases endorphins in the brain, which help quell anxiety, ease pain, and stabilize the immune system. Furthermore, a study published in the Health Psychology Review tested the effect of different types of music on 9,167 participants to see how it would affect their emotional stress levels. When listening to music, researchers observed that the heart rates and blood pressure of the participants dropped significantly. Music has also aided the stress of hospital patients. A study was conducted in a New York hospital measuring the stress of patients before, during, and after surgery. 20 of the 40 patients received music throughout the entire procedure. The other 20 did not. Such patients who received music before surgery were much more relaxed compared to the ones that weren't. Now that you know about music's wonderful benefits, you're probably thinking, that's great, but what do I do with all this information? The solution's actually pretty simple. Incorporate music into your daily routine where you see fit, whether it be in the mornings before heading out, before going to sleep, driving in the car, etc. Hospitals can do their part by playing a patient's favorite tune before surgery, or just playing a song in the hallways through a loudspeaker. Lastly, but certainly not least, businesses should allow their employees to listen to music with headphones, or they could play music in the office. The possibilities are honestly endless. All you have to do is find a playlist that works for you and your schedule. Thanks for listening.